Hello and welcome to our midweek message. I'm Chris, the team rector here in the Golden Cap Benefice. And I wanted to begin by reading to you a passage from John's Gospel that we often hear during Lent, usually on Ash Wednesday, although we chose to use an alternative for this year's Ash Wednesday service live on Zoom. Never thought I'd be saying words like that in my ministry here. But from John chapter 8, it's the story of the woman caught in adultery. At dawn, Jesus appeared again in the temple courts, where all the people gathered round him, and he sat down to teach them. The teachers of the law and the Pharisees brought in a woman caught in adultery. They made her stand before the group and said to Jesus, "Teacher, this woman was caught in the act of adultery. In the law, Moses commanded us to stone such women. Now what do you say?" They were using this question as a trap in order to have a basis for accusing him. But Jesus bent down and started to write on the ground with his finger. Pause. Hitting the pause button. Because I'm very struck today by this dramatic pause in proceedings, characterized by Jesus bending down to write in the sand. I wonder what he's writing in the sand. Whatever it is he's writing, he's creating this moment for reflection, this pause for thought. It's a moment where nothing seems to be happening, and yet because of it, much is about to be resolved. I imagine that for the woman it must be a very anxious pause, as if being shamed so publicly isn't bad enough. Her life literally hangs in the balance. What Jesus will say next could decide her fate. It's a matter of life and death. But for the teachers and the Pharisees, I wonder if it's a difficult pause as well. Because these are the religious ones, these are the good guys of their day, and Jesus is making them wait to be proved right. They know their scriptures. It's obvious, isn't it, that this woman should be stoned? It is written. Surely Jesus will agree with the law that God gave Moses. Jesus stoops down to write in the sand. He creates this moment for reflection, this big pause. And he brings the pause to an end with just a few stunningly wise words. Because when the time comes for him to speak, he does so in a way that creates new understandings for everyone involved. John continues. Jesus bent down and started to write on the ground with his finger. When they kept on questioning him, Jesus straightened up and said to them, "If any one of you is without sin, let him be the first to throw a stone at her." Again, he stooped down and wrote on the ground. Pause. Jesus hits the pause button, stooping down again to write in the sand, but this time allowing those around him, the woman, her accusers, all those who are listening, he's allowing them their own pause for thought, their own moment for reflection, their own opportunity to think and to ponder and to respond as he writes again in the sand. And he doesn't really answer their question. Instead, he sort of poses them a different one. Doesn't Jesus always do this so masterfully? I so admire him for the way he answers questions by posing a better one. He says, "Is any one of you without sin? If so, you throw first. You throw the first stone." And in doing so, he gives them the opportunity for self-reflection as he writes in the sand. John continues. At this, those who heard began to go away one at a time, the older ones first, until only Jesus was left, with the woman still standing there. Jesus straightened up and asked her, "Woman, where are they? Has no one condemned you?" "No one, sir," she said. "Then neither do I condemn you," Jesus declared. "Go now and leave your life of sin." So after these moments for reflection, here is the woman left with an audience of one, standing in front of Jesus and being met gently and mercifully by him. Lent is a period in which we hit the pause button and we take a reflective look at our patterns for living. And making space for reflective pauses in our lives can often feel like we're doing nothing. And yet somehow it creates an opportunity for something new to emerge. Mind you, let's face it, long before Lent started, we found ourselves still in the middle of what feels like a gigantic pause in our patterns of living and being together, in our rhythm of public prayer and worship, and just community life together. We've had to hit the pause button for a long time. And I wonder how you're coping with that pause. Maybe, like for the woman, it's still a place of deep anxiety. Maybe like for the scribes and teachers of the law, the Pharisees, maybe it's a place of profound challenge. They were not only confronted with some uncomfortable truths about themselves, about where the problem of sin really starts, they also have to realize that they aren't always right about everything, even when it seems obvious. Pauses are difficult. They can bring anxiety, they can bring challenge. They often throw up more questions than they do answers. But the pauses matter. This space for reflection during Lent and longer during this term, this season that we've been living with a pandemic, they can be difficult and challenging, but also they can be transforming and creative spaces. A place for rediscovering freedom, a place for finding new understandings, a place for learning new compassion. So let's stay with the pause that this season is providing, and let's see what new things emerge on the other side. And may God bless you today.